There's a star man waiting in the sky. What's happening? What's up? Got that thing fired up. Welcome to the Rich Get Richard. I'm your hostess with the mostest, which is the corniest line ever. But I do believe I got the mostest. I do believe I have what it takes to get you to where you need to be. I love talking about money. I comically can sit here and do this all day, like Captain America. If you are that type, if you like sitting around talking about money all day, I guess you're in the right place. Because one thing about us, I look at money unbiasedly. I look at money. I think one thing about money that I appreciate is money and finances and credit and all that kind of stuff. Unlike politics, unlike religion, unlike sex, creed, and all that kind of stuff, it is super unbiased. Money has no friends, it has no enemies. It has no ups, it has no downs. It is what it is. You can take it or leave it. And one thing about money is it's if you're making good money or you do something, you put your money into something and it makes money, it's all good. And if you put your money into something and you lose money, it's all bad. It's no bias. The money doesn't care who you are, your sex, creed, religion. Don't care. That's one thing I can appreciate about money, right? There's no arguing about it. There's no Republican or Democrat about it. It's just straight cash. You put your money into something, what's the results? And it's measurable. There's no subjectivity. If I put $100 into a pot and I pull out $120, that's a 20% return. There's no, oh man, what if it had made more? Well, there's no what if it made more. It's 20%. That's what it made. There's no bias. Stop overthinking it. Now, you want to continue to make 20%? Or do you want to try something else? About simple as it gets. But welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. I love talking about money. I love talking about finances. It's kind of late, though. Sometimes I come on late for those uh, people all throughout the world. And I don't know where you're checking in from. But if you want to give a shout out where you're from and say what you're doing and all that kind of stuff, or where you're from, it is what it is. But I like talking about different stuff. What happened, sir? I see you. Hey, we'll probably talk tomorrow. So let's get started. Welcome in. I'll let people trickle in. My name is Mr. Richard. We talk about everything money, finances, credit, businesses, all of it. Stock market. I don't care. If it makes dollars, it makes sense. I'll run it. So checking in Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook's in the house. I got people that come in here and just sit and listen. I got people that come in here and never say anything. I ain't gonna say no names, but they come in, or some people come in and just talk your ears off. But I appreciate everybody. I welcome everybody. So if you're following on TikTok, tap the screen many times you can. That's your price of admission. If you want to come and watch it from YouTube, click the link in the bio, watch from YouTube. Or go to therichgetrichard.com and thank you for the gifts. If you want to go watch from YouTube and just search it, go to therichgetrichard.com. Like I said before, I'll sit on here and talk all day, but I like helping out. I like talking about money, and every once in YouTube pays me to be here. It's not a lot, but it does pay. Um, so you want to, and also too, I see the questions easier from YouTube. So if you want to watch from there, we can. Um, so I really don't have no subject today. I typically come on and just kind of freestyle. It just depends. So I'm gonna read a quick question real quick. I don't want the question to disappear. Let's go. Somebody said I'm watching from two different places. I appreciate it. I don't know how you do that, but I guess you can have two apps open at once, I guess. My money journey started. I guess you're trying to get your money journey started when I discovered what equity was, and I have been making large sums ever since. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so for those who don't know, when you have equity, that just means the value of something and the what you owe on it. The value of it is worth more than what you owe on it, right? But you can have equity in anything. You know, you can have equity in a car in theory. You can have equity in a house. Hell, you can have anybody who knows me knows I like comic books. All right, boom. First appearance of the Justice League, right? Let's say this bad boy's worth, I don't know, 10 grand, right? I have equity in comic books. It has a value, it has a understanding, has a market. Somebody is willing to pay for it. Someone's willing to give me 10 grand for it. If I take it, I have $10,000 worth of cash. I have an equity stake in that. And let's say if my comic book collection is, I don't know, 20 grand or something like that. I don't know. Right? I'm not gonna tell you what my comic book collection is. I don't want y'all to try to run up. It's gonna be bad business. You come up in here. But I mean, everything has value to somebody, right? But we as a society, we as a people have a bad habit of putting money into the wrong things. We put things that don't appreciate, we put money into things that we feel give us value, but they really don't. And we also put money into things that aren't worth as much as what we paid for it. Meaning that you might buy, I'm a watch collector too, right? If I buy, a nice Rolex or something, if my Rolex is worth, 10K, and in 5 years from now, it'll probably be still either worth 10K, maybe even a little more. But if you bought that, a bedazzled, blinged out damn watch, and now they take a $10,000 Rolex, they bedazzle the shit, put all this damn crap on it, and now they'll sell it for 40, but the real value of it is 5. And we as people, minorities, majority of people on here, if you're a white guy or white girl, I mean, not welcome, but majority of people that watch me are minorities. But I hope to change that soon. But if you're giving it value, you pay $40,000 for it, but you're not going to sell it to no one else for $5 grand because it's not worth anything. And you think that the jewels give it the value. No, it doesn't. The quality and the timelessness is what gives it value, especially when it comes to jewelry. But stop spending your money on things that you feel are valuable, but they're really not. Cars is another one. You might feel cool driving a car, and you might feel you need a car payment to keep up with the society norms, but you really don't. You just need something to get you back and forth to work. And then you need to take the rest of your income and the rest of your money and put it to stuff that makes money. Okay? So I appreciate that you understanding the equity value of things, but you're like at the tip of the iceberg. And once you start building up equity in things that make you more money, like equity stake in businesses, equity stake in real estate, equity in like portfolios of real estate, then you'll start getting some real growth when it comes to finances. All right. Somebody said, what's a good investment right now for positive cash flow monthly? Real estate or businesses? If you want positive cash flow, you can still get positive cash flow with stocks or ETFs, mutual funds, index funds, but you're not going to be getting as much. And you got to have a decent amount. And I don't know what you consider. You say positive cash flow. Positive cash flow is, I mean, shit, if I put, $500 into an account and it made 10% and I want to take interest check, I mean, that's $500 a year on 10%, which is, I don't know, $4 and some change a month, which you are making cash flow, but you're asking it kind of weird. You need to kind of set a parameter on how much cash flow you want, and then work your way backwards or work your way from there, right? So if you need $10,000 a month, okay, that's the start. Now that's $120,000 a year. Now what you do is reverse engineer it. $120,000 a year, $10,000 a month. What does a piece of real estate pay? Let's say if a piece of real estate, you found a property that after your rent is paid or your mortgage is paid, the rent pays you $500. Well, $500 a month, 20 properties, that's $10,000. It's about as simple as it gets. That's what I said. I am unbiased when it comes to money. It's super simple to comprehend some of the concepts when it comes to money. Let's say if you bought a business, right? Let's say the business is $300,000. Okay. Let's say the business is doing 35% returns. 35% of 300,000 is about 120,000. So how much does a $300,000 business, how much do you need to put down? Sometimes you can get them for 10% down. So now if you buy a $300,000 business, you put 10% down, and you're making 33% returns, so 35%, that's 120,000. Divide 120 by 12 months a year, that's $10,000 a month. I mean, about as simple as it gets. But that's a good question, though. But what you need to do, positive cash flow is almost irrelevant. How much cash flow do you need or want to live off of? Then you start like reverse engineering from that. Because a lot of people really don't understand when it's talking about money. They look at it like, I'm going to give you a great analogy. It's almost like weight loss. You never should go to the gym and say, I want to lose as much weight as humanly possible, fast as I can. No, you won't lose weight thinking like that. You don't go into the gym and say, I want to lose as much weight as fast as possible, because you know what's going to happen. You're going to do it for 2 days, 3 days, 5 days a week. And you're like, yo, this shit don't work. It's not fast enough. And I quit. You should have goals and steps on how to get to those goals. And then that's how you get it done. You know? And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people just think that there's a magic pill that you just take and get, and it just happens. A lot of people have unrealistic expectations, and some people's goals are ridiculously high for where they start, which is kind of ridiculous if you think about it. Some people say, I literally get people come into my live, or some people send me DMs, and they'll literally say stuff like this. I got $10,000. I need to have $1 million by 6 months. You need pretty much a 3,000, 5,000 multiplier in 6 months. What? Hold on, what is the multiplier of 10,000? So 10 to 100, that's 10. 10, 10, that's 100x. You want me to 100 times your money in 6 months? 100 times. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. And people think that that's normal. And what's crazy is that if I say, that's unrealistic, and it's, oh, you ain't that good. What? Because I can't take $10,000 and make it to $1 million in 6 months. The bad part about it is, even if I could, let's say if I had a magic hat and I take your $10,000, I shake it up and I sit on it like a little golden egg or something like that, and it pops out $1 million, I'll give it to you. And you know what'll happen? 6 months later, you'll be right back with another $10,000. Yo, man, I'm like, what other million at? Shit, that shit gone, cuz. I got me a Scat Pack, a Hellcat. I got me some rims. I got some jewelry. I got some busted out AP. I went to Johnny Dang. Like, bro, you a clown. You don't understand money, and you think that it's just abracadabra, I'm rich. I think it's harder to stay rich than it is to be rich, to get rich. I think it's harder to, I'm gonna break that down for y'all. I think it's harder to stay rich than it is to be rich or to get rich, because people win the lottery all the time. People get inheritance all the time. People get windfalls of money all the time. Hell, you get windfall monies all the time, right? And I almost want to comment. I want to comment. I almost want to say this, but I want y'all to like. You don't have to answer it aloud. Just answer to yourself. How much free money have you gotten? I wouldn't even say your lifetime. That's almost too. I'll give you the last 3 years. How much free money have you gotten in the last 3 years? And when I say free money, money that you almost didn't have to work for, right? So things like birthday money, an error on your credit card, tax returns. Someone said 0. Okay, cool. You didn't get no tax returns for 3 years? I'll wait. Not a dime. Someone else said 0. You got no tax returns. None. You got no free money. Someone says, nope, I always have to pay. It ain't free. Well, it's money that you didn't work for. I mean, you probably worked for it, but you're getting money that you really didn't expect it to be there, right? And the windfall money is how you kind of get ahead. You know, somebody said laughing at birthday money. I don't know. My family sends me birthday money all the time, but I don't know what kind of family dynamic y'all be having, but it's all good. The moral of the story is it's money. I call it windfall money. It's money that you really didn't expect, and it wasn't in a check. It wasn't like your earned money. You know what I mean? So like tax returns, or you have an error in your name of like some bank statement or something like that, right? I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I get them all the time, right? Sometimes they're $50, sometimes they're $20. You ever want a class action lawsuit and it'd be like $93 or something? That's windfall money, right? I get a couple a year. Might not be a lot, but I do get a couple, right? What are you doing with that money? People get that kind of stuff all the time. People hit scratch offs, right? Yeah, no one in here wins the scratch off. No one ain't won $500 to $1,000 or $5,000 in the scratch off. I was in the military 2 years ago, and a guy hit a scratch off for 10 grand. Nobody wins scratch offs. No one does as much as sports gambling. I think last month was $11 billion of sports betting. None of y'all bet sports. I mean, y'all not lying to me. Nobody hit their parlays. Nobody hit their scratch offs. Nobody said, yo, man, I owe you some money from a while back. Here you go. And paid you some money back that you didn't even expect it. Or you sold you worked on somebody's car or something like that, and they shot you a couple $100. Or you sold a car that was sitting in your damn driveway for months. You made $5,000, $2,000, $3,000 off that. Come on, y'all. Y'all not lying to me. Y'all not lying to me. But this is what's so crazy about y'all mentalities. Y'all don't even see that as income. Y'all don't see that as opportunity. There we go. Y'all don't see. Someone said I play poker and I win here and there. Yeah. A lot of people don't see those opportunities. I see those things as opportunity. You hit a parlay for $300, $500. You know what you do? You take the parlay money, you go buy groceries. You take the parlay money and you go buy some rims. You go buy some clothes. Or you take the parlay money and then you re-gamble it. You take your income tax and you reinvest it. Or you take your life, you take that money that you get and you spend it on dumb shit, right? What about life insurance? Y'all families you got no life insurance policy or anything? Y'all didn't hit nobody passed and you got inheritance or anything? Like once I start naming random stuff, you're like, oh, okay, well maybe, I guess maybe I got some tax return. Maybe my uncle left me $500. You know, maybe my uncle left me a car. Okay, yeah. When people say nothing, I don't believe it. Nothing. Nothing. 3 years, no money, windfall money has fell in your lap. Nothing. Zero. That's foolish. Y'all full of shit. Don't lie to me. You're lying to yourself. I know. I already know. And then the bad part about it is credit card consumer debt is astronomical. And then one thing about some people's credit cards, you can do cash back as rewards. So when they send you your cash back check, and let's say that's $500, $1,000, $2,000, what do you do with that? Do y'all get those? Or am I the only one? Do I win money at the casino? Or am I the only one that gets that? Am I the only one that gets tax returns? I make more money than all y'all. I get tax returns. So when people say, well, I don't get tax returns, some people might not, but most people get tax returns. You know? I mean, don't lie to me. And don't lie to yourself. When you get that money, I call it windfall money. You didn't expect it. Or even if you work some overtime, right? Normally you check $1,000. This month, you might got like $1,500. You got an extra $500. What are you doing with the extra $500? You don't get no opportunities for overtime at your job? Am I tripping? Like, is it just me? They just spend it. I know they do. You don't have to tell me. You're not lying to me. They blow it on dumb shit. What you're supposed to do, you take I hate to make this about God, right? But God gives you opportunities. Like life presents opportunities all the time. What you do with those opportunities will make or break you. And the moral of the bigger picture story is, if you can't manage an extra $300 on your check, or $200 from the casino, or you hit the parlay, or you went and got your tax return, if you can't manage that, the hell you think you're going to manage $1 million business? Or if I gave all y'all $500,000 right now, you couldn't manage that. You know? I refuse overtime. Well, if you want to get ahead, you might want to start taking some. Someone said, what would you do with an inherited IRA? Well, somebody got some money. Hey, now at least you want to do something good with it. Yeah, you can take that IRA and blow it at the strip club and blow it on rims and Hellcats and or you could put that you could put that IRA to work. You know. But I want you to, okay, for that exercise, I'm gonna change the subject because I don't want to talk about that all day. I hate harping on certain things. But the majority, I want you not to say, I don't get any money, right? This is what I want you to say from here on out. I want you to say to yourself, okay? I want you to say, any abundance of money that comes in needs to be allocated towards bettering my future. Okay? That's all I want you to say. I'm not going to tell you what to spend it on. I'm not going to tell you what to invest it in. All I'm going to say is, when you get an abundance of money that wasn't in your paycheck, right? Or over your paycheck. Let's say you normally make $1,000 a week, and 1 week you worked overtime, now you got $1,300. Cool. Take the extra $300. You didn't plan for it anyways, nor did you need it, but you have it. You're going to take every excess amount of money. Thanks for the follow. Thanks. Every excess amount of money you got, and you're going to put it to work to better your future. If you do that for an X amount of time, right? I'm not going to say the amount of time is irrelevant, but if you do it for, you'll start seeing traction. Just that one play. Just that one. I'm not even talking about cutting the fat or like cutting your living expenses, because everybody in here can cut your living expenses. I haven't met a person ever that was living 100% below their means. Never. Never. Right? And even some of the stuff that you think is a necessity is not. I'll even give you a great example. Who's y'all cell phone carriers? Speak on it. Who y'all cell phone carriers? This gonna get good, and y'all gonna be mad at me. Who's y'all cell phone through? Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile. Someone said T-Mobile. Someone said Smart Talk. Someone said AT&T. Someone said Spectrum. I didn't know Spectrum even made cell phones. That's crazy. T-Mobile. Okay. Smart Talk. Okay, here we go. Don't comment your number. I don't need your number. I just said your cell phone carrier. Here we go. Where are the Crickets? Where are the Mint Mobiles and where are the Smart Talks? Mint Mobile is $15 a month, maybe $20 a month, depending on where you live. Where are those at? AT&T, your bill is probably, if you so low, easily $80. I see a couple of y'all that make smart decisions. Where are the Mint Mobiles? I was with Cricket for years. I mean, dude, comically years. Comically years. Someone said AT&T is $200 for 7 lines. $15 a line is $75 for 7 lines, meaning you are spending $125 more a month. $125 a month is $1,500 a year. I'm not a mathematical genius. I kind of am. I was gifted at mathematics. I was diagnosed and gifted at mathematics in the 7th grade. Actually got qualified to be in Mensa, but I didn't want to pay the monthly or the annual fee. So almost $1,500 a year because you want to be with AT&T. $200 for 7 lines ain't a good deal, Playboy. But I'm the bad guy. And just off your cell phone, you're wasting $125 a month. I ain't even look at the rest of your expenses. I ain't even look at your Netflix subscription, your YouTube subscription, your Hulu subscription, your freaking cable bill, your internet bill. You probably got a land. You probably still paying for a landline or some shit. I ain't even look at that. Hey, don't get to justifying now. I don't want to hear it. Well, see what happened. Well, no. Right? I'm not even including probably the little video game that you have on your cell phone that costs you $3 or $4, $5 you probably pay a month, but it's cheap entertainment. Brother and sisters, y'all are broke. We don't have cheap entertainment when we're broke. You shouldn't be spending money on none of that stuff. I had to buy the device. Okay, let's say if your device is $500. If AT&T gives you a device for free, which is not, you just pay it every month for the next 2 years. But let's say you didn't have the money up front. You could pay for it every month for the next 2 years and pay a $65 bill. Or you can just save up your money, go get a cheaper phone, use your cheaper phone until you save up for a better phone, and then get that. I don't like, you're not going to justify me for being cheap. I was cheap for comically 15 years and I was making some great money and I still was penny pinching. Hell, I still penny pinch to this day on certain things. So when people tell me that they can't do it or they shouldn't do it or it ain't going to work, I don't want to hear it. Right? I was in the military and I had all my little military buddies was like, you got Cricket. Why would you get that cheap ass phone? You can go to AT&T. I got Verizon. And people brag about their cell phone service like they're better than you because they have a fucking T. I have Verizon. They're so great. Yeah, great at ripping your ass off. How much your bill? $90 a month. You know how stupid that sounds? And then in all honesty, if my cell phone works in my house and on my commute to work or at work, I don't give how good of service it is. You know? If it works when I need it to work, and then the bad part about it is, even when I was in the military, we was right by the water. We was literally 400 feet away from the ocean, and some people's cell phones didn't even work there. I was like, yo, Verizon, AT&T never worked. Hey, I guess you get what you pay for, right? Well, normally it works good. Bro, get out of here. If I'm about to pay $80, this shit better work on the fucking moon. But it's all good, right? And I'm not even gonna talk. The moral of these stories is, people, you get windfall money, you can cut the fat, or you can go out and make more money. But what you do with that money will dictate your life and your future. You're gonna get windfall money, casino, gambling. You help somebody move. You sold some furniture. No one in here has garage sales. I didn't even think about that. No, nobody in here does a garage sale. You don't sell all the shit in your house every like 2 years or something, make $300, $400, $500. That don't count. You know what you do? You go out to eat afterwards. He said, "Stop ranting." I'm not ranting. Sometimes you gotta beat people over the head, because that's how people learn. Sometimes you gotta come constantly drilling in people's head that you are messing up. If you want to get ahead in life, these are the things you got to do to get ahead, right? Marketplace. How about this? Let's do this. Let's do this. Everybody in here comment, because I have close to about 100 people in here over all social media platforms. Because I'm streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Name ways you can make money as like a side hustle, or just something that you can do to make extra money, right? Somebody said sold stuff on eBay. Boom. Too easy. No one there sold stuff on eBay? Someone said Fiverr. You can't do voiceovers on Fiverr? Someone said letter writing. Great little side hustle, right? Write letters for people. Giving game live like this on YouTube. Washing cars. You know, digital marketing, tutoring, walking dogs. You can walk people's dogs. You can babysit. You can do people's hair. You can cut hair. Someone says stick up people. No. Don't listen to him. But the moral of the story is, everybody can do this stuff. So you're going to get windfalls of money, which means that you're going to get some taxes. You're going to probably get some inheritance. You're going to get, you won a casino game or something. You did a sports bet with a coworker and you hit for $200. You know, those monies come all the time. Then you get other monies that come in called cutting the fat, cutting your cell phone bill, eating out all the damn time, cut YouTube Premium, Hulu Premium, Netflix, the NFL package, cut that shit, and then get some side hustles going. Walking dogs, Turo, damn car washing, digital marketing, walking dogs. If you do those three things, take all the money for those, put it into something, I promise you, you'll start getting some traction, right? And that's almost a minimum. Every single one of y'all should be doing that, right? And that's just me talking from a perspective of not having a lot, and that's what I did. Years ago, I had antennas. Hell, I still got antennas. I have a damn 90-inch TV in my living room with a freaking antenna on it. A freaking antenna. I ran the shit through the wall. I ran it up through the ceiling. I drill a hole. I put some silicone on it, and I put a big antenna on my roof. The antenna cost me $70. I got 65, 70 channels on it. And I get my locals and I get my sports, ABC, NBC, CBS, and all that kind of crap. And I even get some, and then and then what I can do too is I can get what's called air channels. Air channels is like satellite channels. So I do air channels and then I do cable channels from the satellite. The air channels is another 100 channels. So I got pretty much 150 channels for free. And y'all out here paying for cable. Come on. Come on. Come on. Now, just because I have the money doesn't mean I want to spend it. Someone said, but you have a 90-inch TV? Yeah, I mean, shit. Like I said, I'm cheap on something. But I'm to the point where I don't really have to be cheap no more. And if you're not at that point, then you need to be. Okay? It is what it is, man. It is what it is. I mean, I can't be cheap forever. I said talking about the missus about this, and we have like, I always like, I have like a struggle, right? This is some like inner deep thoughts too. If y'all want to talk about it, y'all want to hear this. This is the mindset of a millionaire, right? I've been cheap my whole life. It's hard for me to kind of turn it off, right? But she'll say, well, what's the point of having millions of dollars and making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month if you don't even enjoy it, right? Because I've been slowly building up this empire for so long. I have to step back and say, you know what? I've been watching on a tube TV for 10 damn years. I deserve a TV. I'm making, last month I did $200,000. I can get myself a TV, right? And that's some real shit. But I was so used to not having stuff because I grew up poor and I pretty much was homeless. And it was hard for me to even turn off not having stuff because I'm so used to working with nothing. But actually, this year has been real bad. About the last 2 years, I've been like, fuck this shit. I'm making way too much money not to be living like a bum. Yeah, I think someone said something about trauma. Yeah, I probably need a psychologist or something. But I just know how I am. I'm just cheap. I guess there's nothing wrong with it, right? Someone said, "What's my currently net worth?" Between 5 and 20. But I try not to even look at it. I don't care. 5 to 20. My income is about six figures a month. Oh, okay, I see you. What's your last name? Or what's your first real name? Or I one of the other. You got bread. Yeah, I'm not broke. But what's crazy is that um, about 70 to 80% of the money I make goes to other investments. So I'll take, let's say if I do 100 grand this month or something, I don't damn know. Say if I do 100 grand this month, I take 70 grand and invest it. So I don't even live off the money. My goal is $100 million. Yeah, you. My goal is $100 million. I think once you get to $100 million, I don't give a shit who you are. Motherfuckers start listening to what you got to say. $100 million is my goal. On this track, I'm in my 40s now. 50. I had the math at 53 and a half. I hit $100 million. But it is what it is. But one side of me just wants to do $100 million to say I did $100 million, but I don't need it. I don't really care. Oh, what's up? Oh, I submitted your stuff too today, so just letting you know. Okay. But I gotta hear from my one of my assistants. They go to bed early. They don't work at night. I did it at night. So in sales or investing, is the majority of mine in real estate, bro? I'm so spread out. It's ridiculous. So I'll give you kind of a quick synopsis if you want to know. When I first started in 2008, I started buying houses. I bought my first house with a VA loan, 0% down, because you can get VAs if you're a veteran. You can get a house with no money down. I bought it. I rented it out to three guys. I had three roommates. It was 4 bedrooms. $500 a piece was their rent. 555. That's 1,500. My rent on that was my mortgage was $825. So I made $550. So this is not a lot of people think that's a win, but I'm gonna put you on some more game. I always like that example because a lot of people think that that was a win, but I'm gonna show you how you should have did it because that's what you did. If I bought a house with zero down, I got three roommates. They paid me $1,500, $500 a piece, right? There's a few ways you can go about it, but I want to see how y'all would do it because this is the way I did it, and this is the way you should do it. You make $500 a month per person. That's three people. That's $1,500. Your house payment is $825. So you make $575. So some people would take the $575 and live off of it to cut their living expenses. That's failure number one. That's trash. Then some people would take the $575 and invest it. I mean, would y'all do that? Just whatever you're making in profit, just invest it. And a lot of people say, yo, that's a good offer deal. And then some people say, we'll take the $575 and pay off the mortgage earlier. And that's if debt servicing 101 rule. If your debt is making you money, why pay off the debt? Why don't you go get more debt that makes you more money? And then some people say, well, save up the $500, $575, and go buy another house, which I could. Or I'm already living in the house. They're my roommates. Why don't I just pay the $575 like no one lives there? Now I can take the whole $1,500. Now I save up $1,500. And let's say if I had to buy another house at $10,000 down. If I saved up $1,500 a month, how fast would I get to $10,000? 6, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, maybe 6 weeks. Then I can start looking for another house to put $10,000 down on. And then this is what's crazy. Let's say I moved into that other house. Now I can do an FHA loan. The FHA loan is 3.5% down. $100,000 house, that's $3,000. $3,000 is 2 months worth of rent. That's a mentality and a mindset that a lot of people don't think about. A lot of people take that 550 and then the 575 and blow it on dumb shit. I'm gonna just spend money on the groceries and you'll never get ahead. Some people try to pay down the debt. You're not doing anything but having one house. And then some people take the whole, and take the 550 and save it. Then some people take the whole the whole 1,500 like me, and I put it to the side, move into another house, and now the three other roommates can live with themselves, and I can live with somebody else. And I get 3 more roommates if I want it, and I can just repeat the process. That's how you get ahead, my homes. That's how you get ahead, my friends. You'll never owe anything again. Huh? Someone says you'll never owe it again. I don't know what that means. But a lot of people see debt wrong. A lot of people look at debt as like a negative, right? I need to give me a sec. Yeah, a lot of people look at debt as bad. Debt is only bad if it takes money out your pocket. Debt is good if it puts money in your pocket. So no Dave Ramsey. Oh, hold on, let me help you out. Dave Ramsey sucks. His methodology will keep you from being rich. You won't be broke, but you will never be rich. Listening to Dave Ramsey, you will never get ahead. You'll be working check to check for 30 years, 40 years. When you turn 65, you'll have a decent looking pension and a paid off house. And let's think about that. Let's say if you bought a house, even though you can't afford it under Dave Ramsey's rules, you bought a house under Dave Ramsey rule, you paid it off in 30 years, you bought your house for 300, now it's worth 600. You got a paid off house. What the hell is a paid off $600,000 house going to do for you? Not a damn thing. It doesn't do anything. Oh, my house payment was $2,000. Now I don't pay no more. What the fuck? What? How does that help you? If you have no income, how does not paying $2,000 a month help? Now I'll give you another perspective. Let's say if you bought 100 properties and those 100 properties pay you, I don't freaking know, $40K a month. What would you rather have? $40K a month and $20,000 worth of bills, or $600,000 in a house and no income? I'll wait. Because I'll take the income instead of a paid off house. A paid off house don't do nothing until you sell it, or until you get a HELOC, or until you get a refinance. And if you refinance, you're taking out equity, you're taking out money, but now you got a house payment again. So defeat the whole purpose of paying the shit off early if you're gonna get another house payment just to tap into the cash. But then you sell the damn thing, where the hell are you gonna live? Now you gotta buy another house. So it defeats the whole purpose, man. It defeats the whole purpose, people. Don't pay your mortgage off quickly. Yeah, that's just trash. I ain't gonna read it. What about equity in the home? Yeah, if you take equity in your home, you gotta have to refinance, or you gotta have to do a HELOC. HELOC is debt. You gotta pay a payment on a HELOC. You gotta pay a payment on a refi, or sell your home. So having a shit ton of equity in a house doesn't do nothing. We're gonna say it together. Let's say it together. Equity is dead money. Right? If y'all want to comment how much equity y'all have in your home, go ahead and comment. I'm just curious. Let's say you got a home that's worth $200,000 and you owe $100,000. That means you got $100,000 worth of equity. Right? I'm almost curious. You don't have to put your business out there though, but I'm just curious. Let's say you have $200,000 worth of equity in your home, 250. Fuck it, $1 million. You got $1 million worth of equity in your property. How is that making you money? $2 million. Hell, $5 million. You bought a house, you bought an apartment complex in the damn 90s for $200,000. Let's say that shit's worth $5,200,000 now. How is that making you money? right? I would hope that you apartment complex you renting it out. But let's say you bought a house. I don't know. I'll make it easy. Say you bought a house, $200,000, and now it's worth $5,200,000. How is a house that's worth $5 million that you pay $200,000 for making you money every month? If the answer is not, then that's your answer, right? A lot of people focus on the wrong things. Dave Ramsey methodology focuses on like equity and paying off your house and getting out of debt. Debt is not the problem, people. Your understanding of debt is. There's two houses. One house costs me $1,000 a month, and the other house makes me $1,000 a month. I bought both of these houses for $100,000 using a 0% interest loan. I put zero down. One of these houses I live in, one of these houses I rent out. One pays me $1,000 a month, and one takes $1,000 out of my pocket. They both are the same house. I paid the same amount. I put the same amount down. One makes me money. One takes money away. One is good debt. One is bad debt. Dave Ramsey says all debt is bad. You're a fucking idiot. If I have a tenant, he pays my rent. And the bad part about it is Dave Ramsey owns like 400 houses. How does he not even comprehend this? He's an idiot. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. How do you have a house that pays you a couple $100 or $300 or $500 or $1,000 a month? The tenant's paying on time. You know, how's that a bad deal? Right? Now let's say you have 5 properties. Now you're making $5,000 a month or $60,000 a year. Hell, 10 properties at $1,000 a month. That's $10K. That's $120,000. You have 10 properties that pay you $1,000 a month of profit. That's $120,000. Now, if I gave you $10,000 of profit every month, you probably would quit your job. By show of hands, put a fire emoji or a boom emoji or whatever. If I gave you 10 properties and all 10 of those properties made you $10,000 a month, total would make you $10,000 a month, which is $120,000 a year, would you quit your job and focus full-time real estate? More than likely. Yeah. Boom emoji, fire emoji. Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate it. I see you. Oh man, my throat hurting. Someone said I thought equity was the goal. Yeah, listen to Dave Ramsey. Equity is the goal. Equity does not make you money. Equity is dead money. It just sits in the house. It does nothing for you. It does nothing for you. Only way you can tap into equity is by having one of 3 transactions: a sale, a refi, or a HELOC. Only way you can tap into equity. And to do any of those 3, more likely you're going to accrue more debt. You sell your house, you got to go buy another one. You get a HELOC, that's debt. You get a refinance, that's debt. But Mr. Dave don't like that. So you just sit in your home equity and pay up your house. You're 60 years old, 65 years old. You can't get a refinance. You can't damn afford it. You know, you refinance to these ridiculous interest rates now, your house payment gonna go up damn near double. You're 65 years old, you're living on a damn fixed income. You can't even afford a refi. So you spend all this time paying off your house, not even to enjoy the equity in your home. You know who's gonna enjoy it? Your kids will. When your ass die, they're gonna sell that shit. It's crazy, man. Reverse mortgage? I guess. They kind of trash too. But you shouldn't be 65 years old trying to do refis and reverse mortgage. You shouldn't have to do that. you should have made enough money from your 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s so you don't have to do that. Right? If this house was paid off, I'm not going to have to do a reverse mortgage. Right? Because all the income I bring in will go to my kids. You know? Or will go to stuff that makes money. The stuff that makes money pays me to have it. If I got a business and the business is paying me $20,000 a month to own it, think I got to worry about a damn reverse mortgage? And then I take the $20,000 and then I invest into ETFs, mutual funds, other businesses, and more real estate. It's like a snowball effect. Say word. Word. Someone said the insurance policies on the houses in Florida are crazy now. Hell yeah, they are. Yeah, a lot of insurance companies are leaving Florida. I bet you it's going to come a time when nobody's going to insure houses in Florida. So it is what it is. Someone said tax sheltering as strategies. Well, since I own a tax company, right? I mean, we could talk about that stuff all the time. I don't really try to get into the tax thing a lot. It's like kind of boring. But I will say this. People who make decent money, their objective is to not pay Uncle Sam their money. You guys probably pay more money in taxes than I do. It's because there's ways to benefit from the tax code, right? Just like if you want to talk about like section 179 of the tax code, buying a vehicle over 6,000 pounds reduces your taxable income. Straight nerdy stuff. If you have a business, hire yourself as a manager of your business. Instead of you making all the income from your business, which is capital gains tax, 30%, you hire yourself as an employee. Employee tax is 8 to 12%. So now you reduce your taxable income by 20%. I mean, there's tons of ways to do stuff. Don't focus on that. Focus on making more money. Okay? When you make more money, you can worry about hiding income. You know, or depreciation of investment properties, or depreciation of equipment on the businesses you own, or depreciation of the buildings you own if you own the business and the business, you know, stuff like that, right? But I'm telling you something. Focus on, like, there's a lot of people, like, I have like debates with people. People will say stuff like to me, well, when you set up you shouldn't even have set up an LLC. You should have set up an S corp. You should have set up a C corp. You should have set up a sole proprietorship, and you should have did it this way. And I said, well, instead of worried about me, the business structure, because I can always change that. I can't always change me focusing on making money, right? Some people, I know people spend 6 months to a year trying to focus on the proper business structure, right? Dude, give me a LLC and a EIN, and let me go out here and get some funding. Let me go out here and raise capital. Let me start putting some real estate and some shit in there. And then you 6 months in, and I got the perfect bulletproof business structure. Mother trucker, I bought 6 properties in that time. Now those 6 properties is paying me $3,500 a month. And you still at zero. That's like someone saying, hey man, I'm gonna save up for some Michael Jordans because I want to go play basketball, right? I want to be like Mike. I gotta have the best shoes. I want the best gear, right, bro? I'm gonna go out here in slides and a wife beater, and I'm gonna go do some layup drills, right? And I'm 6 months more advanced because you want to look like you got the game instead of actually getting the game, right? Call me old-fashioned. Focus on making money. And then you can go high. Now, if I was making $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. Now I go hire somebody to set up my LLC or my S corp or my C corp. I go hire somebody to do my taxes. I can go hire somebody to create shell corps and chef corps and all that kind of shit like that, while you're still focusing on business structure. That's how big boys and big girls do it. You think Mark Zuckerberg set up his business and corporate structure? Come on, dog. Come on. He was too busy building $1 billion company. Right? My lawyers can do that shit. We talk about retention rate. I don't even know what that is. Say it differently. Retention rates. What is that? I don't know what that is. Like retention of people in the company? After having income, what structure do you prefer? Depending on the business, my guy. Depends on the business. Sometimes you don't need, all that crazy stuff. Sometimes you just need some simple asset protection or liability protection. Just depends, right? Whatever my lawyer tell me to put it in. Do you teach how to get funding? Yeah. If you're interested in that type of stuff, click the link in the bio and join the free class. I walk you through funding, business credit. If you want to get into LLC structure, S corp structure, sole proprietorship, C corps, you want to get into that, we'll talk about that. If you want to get into buying an existing business, you want to get into starting a business, which I don't recommend. If you want to get into investing, if you want to get into crypto, any of that stuff, which I don't recommend you doing any of that crap, but yeah, come to the free class and then learn. And if you want to learn more in detail, we go from there. If not, yeah, fine. You can figure it out yourself. It just takes time. One thing about me is I try to fast forward the process of the learning curve, right? You can go to YouTube and you can get a lot of misinformation, or you can get some constricting information, or you don't get people that hold you accountable, and then you don't know what's good, you don't know what's bad. You can't ask no questions. It's impersonable. And one thing about me, if you try to hop on my team or you want to learn more, I got you. You can ask me whatever you want. And it won't be like I'm talking to y'all now, but I'm like vaguely talking. I'm not really like specific. But if I really wanted to get into specifics, I can break all of it down, right? I'll even say, someone said something about funding. Cool. I'll give you a tip of the iceberg. So whenever you want to go for funding, there's a few ways you can do it. You need to have the proper business structure. If your business is not set up properly, banks won't loan you money. They have two types of funds. You have existing businesses that's been around for over 2 years or under 2 years. New business setup funds, they have those funds sitting aside, and they have funds of aged business. So when I see people out here talking about go buy Age Corp, it doesn't make a difference. You only will get about 12% more of funding with an Age Corp. So why would you spend thousands of dollars on a corporation that's older whenever you want to go get funding? So you can just start a new LLC, S Corp, or C Corp, and get the same amount of funding. The average new business under 2 years gets startup funds up to $50,000 to $55,000 on average. Over 2 years, you're averaging about $60,000 to $62,000. That's only $7,000. Why would you spend $10,000 on an Age Corp to get $7,000 more? Doesn't make any sense. You might as well use your startup funds, and then you can automatically know what kind of business you're getting into, and you can just set it up yourself, and it's super cheap, right? The average LLC, C Corp, S Corp setup is only damn $300 through the Secretary of State or some shit like that, right? So now you got that, but then you're gonna have other things attached to the business to make them think that you're a legitimate business. Because if you submit a funding application to a banking institution that's improperly filled out, they will automatically kick out your application. On average, I think something in the range of 100,000 applications a year. 100,000 applications a year. Oh, sorry, 100,000 applications a month are sent to American Express. 80,000 of them are automatically kicked out. So 80% of them are automatically kicked out because they don't have the proper structure in their business. And I'll give you one off the top of my head. Let's say you have the wrong business email. Okay? They'll say, what's your business email? And let's say your name is juicylips55 at Gmail. At Gmail, at Yahoo, at Ymail, at MSN, automatically kicked out. They will not approve you for a business loan if you have one of those emails. So you need a professional email. Even if your name was Hot Lips, it should be hotlips55 at Horizon Logistics Group or whatever the hell it's called .com. That way you can prevent your corporation or your structure from not even get kicked out of the application process. Now, there's probably like 7 to 8 other things that you need to focus on too, right? I can teach you how to do it, and I can help you set up that system, and or I can do it for you, right? That's why people hire me, because I know what the hell I'm talking about, and I've been doing this for a while. Or I got tired of people asking me, I ain't got no money to invest. Cool, I'll buy a funding company. And day one, I said, who's the funding manager? It was my buddy, Mr. Dave. Hey, Dave, what's up? Cool. Sit your ass down. Teach me everything about funding in the next 3 hours. Let's go get lunch. And we sat down. And he broke it all down for me. Oh, wow, they kick him out? Cool. This works? Cool. What about this? I heard this works. What about trade lines? What about net 30s? What about net 60s? What about net 90s? What about Dun & Bradstreet? What about trade lines? What about H Corps? What about Shell Corps? What about Chef Corps? And I gave you that for free. Imagine if you was in the community. Shit. Jeez. But it's all good. Thank y'all for being in here, man. Y'all checking in. Let's see what we got going on. YouTube, thick as always. I got like 8 followers on Twitch, and it'd be like the same one person. Twitch person, if you in here, comment please. I just want to see if you a real person or you like a bot recording me or something like that. You know what I mean? I want to learn from you, Unc. Hey, Unc is Shannon Sharp, man. You gave me learning nothing from him except how to get in trouble. What should you put your location for if your company's out of state? That's why we learn. Hey, man, I already gave you some game for free, man. Come on, man. Right? That's too easy. That's some good trouble. No, that's bad trouble. We got fired for that shit. I ain't trying to get fired for oh, my bad. I was reading something. Somebody owe me some money and they playing around. I'm about to flip out. It's a little light something, but it's all good. A little 18 thou wow. But it's all good. Yeah, someone said free class. Yeah. Click the link in the bio. It's called Be Your Own Boss. Sign up. 3 pieces of information. I'll text you before we start. And if you find value in it, cool. If you don't, cool too. It don't make me no difference. You want to move forward, we move forward. If we don't, you don't. I represent, baby. Somebody still holding on. Much appreciated. I'm out. All right, man. Take it easy. Later, dudes. I'm about to get off here too, man. I got other stuff to do. Somebody making me upset, and they keep messaging me, and I don't want to stop talking with them to deal with these fools, right? Yeah. So someone said I signed up for the course. I don't do courses, so I'm gonna kind of break down like general curriculum if you want me to, which I kind of can harp on a little bit. So when it comes to this type of stuff, you have three different types of things, right? Which I've done. Well, I've done them all, and certain ways I like doing stuff, and some ways I don't like doing stuff. So one is courses. So a course is like taking an online college, and if anybody ever taken like an online college, they suck, right? They suck. Well, I'll give you four, right? I'll give you a mastermind too. So they kind of mastermind. Okay, I got you. So courses to me suck. You get in, you log on, and then you start, reading material. And they'll say, "I'm glad you signed up. Read below to learn more." And it's like reading a book. Mother clucker, if I wanted to read a book, I had to go to Barnes and Noble, right? Then they might have like a 3-minute video kind of explaining some stuff, but for the most part, it's like a lot of reading. You just click through the material and you're like, yeah, that's it. I remember one time I bought a course. It was like $2.99. Man, I clicked through that course probably and I was just clicking through just to see like the substance of it. It was 10 pages. Every page had like a 6-minute video. So about an hour. And then it had like 3 pages of material right under it. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, dude. I mean, I pretty much watched the 6-minute videos and then I read over the paper. I watched a 6-minute video. Man, I was done with that shit in 2 hours. I was like, well, shit. What the hell? Right? Oh, so yeah, I got an AR-15 from the military, got paid for his visit and get the money. You happy? God, I see you. I'm not going to stop talking just to read your. I see you. But yes, that's what courses are, right? They're like self-taught, and I really don't too much care for that. But then you have what's called like an in-person event or a mastermind. Okay, so the masterminds is like you go to an event. Myron Gordon or whatever the hell his name is do a lot of these events. There's a lot of people that does that. Tony Robinson, Grant Cardone, they do a lot of these, right? You go and meet and you pay your, $300, $500, $1,000 to do a meet and greet, $2,000 or whatever the hell their cost, and then you meet the people. You eat some food, you do some networking, you get hyped up over the weekend. They give you a lot of information. A lot of it's not practical, and then you just like, you get home, you hyped up, and you try to apply some of this stuff, and then you're still just as lost as you was before. And then after like 2 weeks later, you forget you was at the event, and then like it's just behind you. And that's how the public speaking class, master class, mastermind stuff typically works. And then you have like ongoing detailed coaching. And that's pretty much the most effective way on how to learn this stuff, right? Is where you bring up the information. Uh, you meet the person and they give you guidance over a specific subject, and you ask them Q&A, and then you meet with them at a designated time and you discuss your wins, your losses. And to me, that's the most effective way you can do it, right? I'm not going to say it's 100% fail proof or it works for everybody, but to me, being held accountable, collaborating with multiple like-minded people, and then using that network and that system of people and talking to people who've done it before to get ahead is probably the best way to do it. If you had to do it, right? Some people try to figure this stuff out on their own. One thing about me, man, I'm gonna try to fast forward that process, right? If you don't know anything about setting up a business or buying a business or buying real estate, and you're gonna try to go do it yourself, you're gonna spend years and way more money than you would if you just say, "Yo, just go here and do this," and then it's, you know, that's how I did it, and then now you kind of learn. Right. Someone talked about mentors. Someone said I paid to fly to Utah to meet Chris. Yeah, I have a part of a coaching group. I was supposed to go up there and meet him. He's based in Utah. I'm supposed to be on this podcast, but it is what it is. If I get there, I get there, man. It's all good. Welcome in, Instagrammers. Welcome in, Facebook. Damn, Facebook bumping kinda. And YouTube, TikTok, Twitch. Welcome in. We're talking about money, finances. I'm not gonna stay on here too much longer, but a couple more questions, and then I'm gonna bounce. What if you want to just comment where you're from, and I can tell you if that's a good place to invest or not. I can talk about that. If you have any questions over starting a business or buying a business, we can talk about that. You want to talk about real estate, buying your first home. You can talk about buying investment properties. You can talk about just general investing, stock bonds, mutual funds. You want to talk about crypto, even though I hate it. We can talk about that. Buffalo, New York. Yep, good. Good for businesses and good for real estate. It kind of got a little more expensive lately. North Carolina, you can make a small fortune. Connecticut is real good. Nashville, trash. Good for businesses, horrible for real estate. If I was in Nashville, I would drive an hour north to Kentucky. Better real estate to me. That's just my personal opinion, though. You want to talk about mutual funds? All right, cool. So a mutual fund is a collection of stocks that have mutual interests. So if you had like 10 energy companies or 10 car companies or 10 ones that this person wanted to invest in. Are birth certificates on the stock market? I don't know what that means. Don't come in with no conspiracy. I don't want to hear that. I don't know. When you're born, your stocks are. No, I don't know nothing about that. If it is, I'll take your word on it. I don't know nothing about that. But a mutual fund is just a collection of stocks. But every brokerage house, the Charles Schwab, the Fidelity, the Goldman Sachs, T. Rowe Price, all of those have different fees, and they have different rate of returns. So depends on what kind of mutual fund you want to invest in. And they can do what's called a no load. Well, it's kind of weird nowadays. You can almost do no load. So back in the day, you have to get what's called a UUA or UAA waiver. Because to invest in a mutual fund, you have to have a minimum down payment requirement. And then they waived all those due to the Fair Trade Act, giving every individual the right to buy and sell stocks and not make it like the big boy club. But I think it actually helped a lot for everybody. So, but yeah, mutual funds are good. ETFs are good and index funds are good, right? Just look at the fees and look at the annual returns, 5-year returns, 10-year returns, and what's called a life cycle return. Life cycle is how much money it produced over its lifetime. And if the index fund or the mutual fund or the ETF or whatever hasn't even been around for more than 10 years, bounce. It ain't worth it. Like I've seen funds that was doing like, let's say, lifetime or since inception, which is another terminology that he used. Since inception or since the lifetime of this fund, it did 28%. You're like, oh shit, 28%. When was this fund started? 18 months ago. I was like, oh, get out of here. Get, man, boo. If it ain't over 10 years, you don't have a track record for me, man. So hopefully that helps with your mutual fund journey. But I can break down ones I like and which ones I don't like, right? But I don't tell you what to invest in. I just show you what I like, and then you want to go with that, then you can go with it. But I can show you how to read the charts and numbers and stuff like that, which makes it a whole lot easier to comprehend. Because it's just simple math, right? 10 is more than 8. 15 is more than 12. I mean, but so what's gets. Mutual funds are ETFs with higher fees. Yeah. Yeah, mutual funds typically have better and longer track records than most ETFs too. So it just depends on you. It depends, my friends. Depends, my friends. So you can accumulate $10,000, $15,000. So you accumulate $10,000, $15,000. What's the best would be take 1,000 to get the best advice to start investing. Huh? Maybe I'm reading it slow. Best things you would be to take 1,000 to get the best advice to start to invest. No, I read it right. You accumulated 20 grand. Best thing, best thing. Oh, best thing would be to take 1,000 to get the best advice to start. You're losing me on that one. I guess what you're saying is if you had some money and you just start taking 10,000 or take $1,000 or take pieces of that money, put it in different funds, and then seeing what works out. Or what you're saying is if you have $20,000, just pay someone $1,000 and they show you how to do it. Yeah. Or you just pay me and I'll do it for you. I'll show it. I'll show you how to do it, and I'll show you more than that. See, that's what's crazy about me, man. I'm almost like the center of investing, and that's what I try to specialize in. I try to give people the right information. I try to give people the guidance they need. There's a lot of people out here that do a lot of things. They're like specialties, and sometimes you don't need specialties. Sometimes you got to be general. Like there's some people who specialize in Section 8. There's some people who specialize in storage units. There's some people who specialize in wholesaling. There's some people who specialize in tax liens. And then there's some people who specialize in all of them, right? I use whatever method I can to get the bread. That's how it should be. That's what you should be doing. But yeah, but I think I did. I've been on here a while. Wow. Facebook in the house, YouTube in the house, Instagram kind of dying off, but it's all good. Twitch always in the house, but never comments. I don't know who the hell that 3 people that follow me on Twitch. Can I elaborate more on how me and Ludacris got to a fight? I'll keep it short. I'm gonna ask this question, and I'm gonna answer this rent question over here, and then all right. So how me and Ludacris got into it? So what happened is this was in 2017. No, whenever. I was at the Super Bowl, and I was in the VIP area. So VIP at the Super Bowl was like, it was weird. It was like an open room, but you can walk into the stadium. It was like its own enclosure. It was like you walked into the steps, but then when you walked out the steps, there was like a sitting lounge. So when you go to a football game, you'll see like there's no like lounges because that's where like the average person sits. But at the VIP area, you sit in like the lounges. And then there's a lounge, and then there's a cocktail waitress and stuff like that. There's cell phone chargers. You can go over here and buy merch and stuff like that. And it's like real laid back. Like it ain't like what other people experience, right? It ain't just a whole bunch of crowded people and just standing around and looking crazy. Like no, you can actually just sit in the lounge and watch it from the game. And this, which people was doing. It was kind of weird. If people were sitting, they didn't want to be. They want to be there. They didn't care about watching the game. Like it was a glass wall 5 feet from the right, and you could see the game. But they would sit there and watch it on TV. It was kind of weird. So I was charging my phone because my phone had died, and because they had like a whole bunch of cell phone charging ports, but it was like one of those like blocks that you plug all your stuff in. So me and the missus was standing there, and she's a huge Ludacris fan, huge, knows all his songs, whatever. And all these other celebrities are walking by. Who was Mark Wahlberg? He was cool. We saw Shaquille O'Neal, Dominique Dawes. No, not Simone Biles. That's who it was. Simone Biles. I saw her. She was little, man. She was like 4'5" or some shit. Look, President Bush Senior was in like a Professor X wheelchair, and wow, it was crazy. He had so much security, but a lot of football players, a lot of basketball players, Chris Tucker, Snoop Dogg, Outkast. I mean, T.I. Me and T.I. was sitting right next to each other. He was right like the VIP lounge area we were sitting in. And I was sitting. Sorry, T.I. was 3 seats down. Lil Bow Wow and Jermaine Dupri was 1 seat over. So Bow Wow was 1 seat over from me, and he has a big ass head. That's a whole nother story. Anyways, so we sitting in the lounge. I'm charging my cell phone, and here comes Ludacris. But Ludacris was behind Akon. So we stopped, and I said, Akon, can I get a photo? So I took a picture with Akon, and he said, yo, let's face the light. Because he was dark as hell, man. I thought I was dark. That dude was black. So we faced the light, and then I said, oh, man, thanks. I gave him dap, and I backed up. And then Ludacris was walking, but I backed almost in front of him. But my wife was kind of like walking around me to get to him because she was a huge fan of him, right? She was like, I'm gonna get a picture with Ludacris, man. I'm just gonna say, hey, let me catch a photo. So I was backing up, and then she was walking around me, and he said, hey, man, watch where you walking. And I said, oh, man, my bad. I didn't see you. I was just taking a photo. And then he was looking like he was like kind of being disrespectful. But then my missus was like standing right in front of him as me and him was like having like this stare off. It was kind of weird. And I was like, all right, man, my bad. And he was just like looking at me like I'm crazy. And I'm just like, hey, man, don't get fucked up. Just because we got a little money up in here don't mean I ain't from the streets. I'll check your little ass out. Right? So I was looking at him like that for a sec, like what you want to do? But he had like security around or something like that. And so then he starts walking a little more, and then my wife called him, and then my wife's like, hey, Ludacris, I'm a huge fan. And she pulls out her cell phone. She already had a cell phone in her hand because she was taking pictures with me and Akon. So she said, hey, can I grab a quick photo? And he says, I don't take photos with I vaguely remember what he was saying. It's something like nobodies or something like that. I don't take pictures with nobodies, but I couldn't really decipher what he was saying. And then